Hi, hello. Welcome to your hour flow together. If we have never met before, I am Dom. It is a great pleasure to get to move with you today. I will give you a little bit of not a spiel, a little bit of a blueprint for our plans today. And while I'm doing that, if you would like to grab maybe a set of blocks, maybe a blanket, maybe an extra pillow for cushioning, please feel free to do that. So today's class is going to look very earthy and grounding and calm. It's really about just being in our bodies and honoring the subtleties is what I would love for our theme to be today. I will also let you know, because I think it's important that we know in exchange what we're all going through. So today, for many different reasons, is a very memorable day for me that makes me just a smidgen weepy. So as we're moving together, if I get a little cracky in my voice, please know it's just because this is my favorite way to process, and that we get to do that together and share is really, I'm really grateful, really special. She says, starting to get cracky. Okay, so if you are watching on Instagram and you would like more of a fuller view of the space we have, you're welcome to head on over to YouTube, Dominique Cheshire Movement. And we have a little bit of a bigger stage for you there. If we would like to grab our pillows and make our way up to seated, and of course, within the idea of class being a blueprint, everything is a suggestion and invitation. You definitely don't have to do what I say. You're welcome to completely freestyle whatever version feels good for you. I do my best to apply options and give options as much as I can to accommodate as much as I can as well. But sometimes I don't get there quite quick enough. So please feel free to do you, boo. All right. Wherever you have landed, can we take a collective, big, delicious breath in together, please? And let's exhale, let that breath go. Let's do that again. Inhale, big. I'm already using my arms. You're welcome to use your arms. Exhale, let it go. One more time. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, let it out. Can we allow the breath that we are inviting and receiving in our bodies to allow a little bit of subtle movement? It doesn't have to be that big arm sweepy gesture. It can just be a little bit of a wave through the body. It could be stillness, and the movement really just be the moving of cells and tissue subtly dancing inside our flesh suits, which sounds gross, but really that's what we are. And so as those inhales are being collected, can we allow them for this moment to maybe collect things that are just sitting, that are just stuck? And then as we breathe out, can we invite that breath to let go, to let be, to release any of those things? Inhaling to explore the body for pieces that maybe feel like they need a little bit of love. And then exhale, like you're breathing love into those places. Maybe your inhale is to explore something more physical that maybe feels tight. And the exhale, breathe space. If you've been moving in one particular pattern, can you sort of switch it up? Maybe adding a circle of the head, maybe a circle of the wrist, maybe a change in direction. Maybe instead of a round shape, you go for more of a side-to-side diagonal linear flow. But always and continuously returning to a gift of the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take 2 more breaths like this, inhaling in, exhaling out. And with this final cycle of breath for this moment, starting to arrive with a little more stillness. Sitting up in a way that feels good for you, and that could be lying down if you prefer, it could be kneeling, standing. Letting the weight of your spine, of your tissues, of your torso, of your muscles sort of feel like they're draping down into the ground. If you'd like to do a little meditation together for groundedness, I invite you to join in, and if you would prefer to just be in your delicious meat soup, please feel free. With this idea of our bones and our tissues and our ligaments and the fluids in our body and all of the emotion that we carry starting to draw down in space, can we feel it draw down to tangibly what you can feel that you're sitting on? And it's so heavy and so curious that the weight of all of these things, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, start to drop deeper, not just towards the floor or through whatever you're sitting on, but through it. Gave myself away there. Drawing further and further the weight of this collective experience, drawing not just through floors, but maybe down into the earth. And instead of thinking about this as roots, like we're growing a tree, although you're welcome to do that if that feels good, can we think of them as gifts? Our lived physical experience, our lived emotional experience, our lived mental experience, our lived spiritual experience. And as they draw deeper to the earth, they sort of bury into the soil. And the earth being Mama Earth, the soil being filled with love, with nutrients, with the wisdom of thousands, millions, billions of years. And as these lived experiences come together in a little bulb in the earth underneath us, knowing that they have the chance to grow. And whatever it is you want this bulb of experience to grow into is totally up to you. It could be a big, gorgeous tree with cherry blossoms or pears. It could be a whole orchard. It could be roses. Or maybe it just wants to stay as that little bulb. But whatever it is, the heaviness, the weight of all of the experiences we've had up until now are buried together in this supported network of beings, of energy of the earth. And so knowing that with it all grows so many beautiful things. Wherever you are, gazing at whatever it is you've chosen to grow, can we take a nice big inhale in? And can we exhale, breathe life to that? If you feel like you need a little shakeout, feel free to just give your hands a little shake. If your eyes are closed, mine are closed, give your hands a little rub together, creating a little bit of heat, and then placing the hands over the eyes. Maybe in this perceived darkness that you've created for yourself, you still have a nice image of whatever it was you chose to participate in. And know that it's with you always. Gently opening your eyes underneath your hands, maybe wiping away any tears if they're there. And then let's give ourselves a little squeeze. Inhaling, those arms come up. As we exhale, can we melt forward in space, reaching those arms but staying seated nice and tall? Can we plant through the hands? Can we feel the tail reach back? And as we inhale, lifting our chest up. And as we exhale, scooping and rounding back. Inhaling to lift our hearts up. So it's like we're doing kind of like an awkward, funky cat-cow here. Exhaling to round. If you found that your hands wandered too far forward, bring them a little closer to you so that as you inhale, you can use them as leverage to lift up. And then as you exhale, you can use them for leverage to round back. Following the curve all the way up to your head. 2 more here. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to scoop and round. 1 more time. Inhaling it up. Exhaling to round. Stay nice and rounded through your spine. And maybe you're so rounded here that you can sort of make your hands a little bit lighter. And if that's not true for your experience, maybe walk your hands a little bit closer towards you so that you can feel that support of your body. And then the hands can maybe, with keeping your torso rounded, walk over to the right. Now, don't be surprised if you're a little more limited in your movement here. We've changed the experience in our upper body, so you won't have a full forward fold. Yeah, you'll be nice and scooped. Feeling hopefully a bit of an experience down that right side of the body, and hopefully it's something you can still breathe into. Inhaling here and exhaling. And then walking those hands through center. Remember, we're still in that really gorgeous interpretation of a cat spine. Walking our hands over to the right. As our hands walk over to the right, feeling how this experience has shifted itself to the left side of the body. And with no judgment, no comparison, just noticing how it feels here. Taking 1 more breath in. Breathing it out. Walking those hands through center and then all the way up, sitting up tall. Let's take those legs and just switch them the other way. So if you've been seated cross-legged, we just want to flip our legs. If you've been kneeling or lying down, please feel free to be as you are. Again, inhale, those arms sweep up. And then exhale, let's take them forward. And you're welcome to start with a nice long spine if that feels good. As we start to move into some movement here, maybe the hands need to shift backwards just a little bit. Inhaling to lengthen our chest up. And then exhaling to scoop and round it back. Inhaling to lengthen forward. Maybe those hands can plant down and give you the space to lengthen up through the chest. Exhaling, scooping through that belly, almost feeling like it's being initiated from the pelvis. 2 more times. Inhale, maybe your hands shift a little closer. It gives you more range to lengthen up. Exhaling to scoop and round it back. 1 more time. Inhaling it up here. Exhaling, we scoop, we round, and then we pause. And so as you're rounding here, the closer your hands come towards you, the more you'll be able to sit on your tailbone. But we're not sitting upright. We're in this like really hollowed, kind of awkward scoopy shape. Can we keep this scoopy shape and walk our hands back over to the right again? And maybe the experience on that left side is a little bit different this time because we've switched our legs. Try to hollow through that belly. Try to lift up and out of our vertebra as we melt here for a hot second. When you're ready, shifting those hands through center and then over to the right. And again, noticing if the experience feels a little bit different on the right side. Noticing but not judging. Noticing but not comparing. And can we keep scooping? Can we lift up and out of our vertebrae? So instead of sitting in this sort of squishy shape, which is definitely what it feels like in the front of our body, can we think about how expansive it is through the back of the body and let that experience be the one we're looking to feel? Walking your hands through center. Let's bring ourselves all the way upright. Shoulders can take a nice little roll. We're going to go for a nice little seated sun cell here. So again, please feel free to arrange yourself kneeling. You could be standing, you could be seated, whatever feels good. Hands come to rest on thighs. They could be palms down, palms up, whatever you feel. Taking that inhale through the nose, if you can breathe through your nose today. And maybe taking the exhale through the mouth or the nose again, whatever feels most accessible. On your next inhale, can both of your arms draw up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, left hand comes down. We take a side bend over to the left. Inhale, both of our arms come up in space. This time as we exhale, right hand draws down, side bend over to the right. Inhale, both arms reach up to the ceiling. We're going for that forward movement as we reach the spine forward. Hands maybe shimmy back so that we can inhale, take that nice opening of the chest. As we breathe out, we scoop our spines, walk our hands back. Now you can take those hands behind you as you inhale, and maybe give yourself that little bit of a lift again, but it's happening from your hands being behind you. As you inhale, bringing yourself down, maybe a little more upright in space. Arms can reach up overhead. We're still inhaling. And then exhale down to your heart. Hands come down beside you. Take a breath in. Hands come to rest. Breathe out. Next, inhale, arms sweep up. We're going to the right first this time. Right hand draws down, side bend over to the right. Inhale, those arms sweep up. Left arm as we breathe out, side bend over to the left. Inhale, arms come up. Bowing forward as we breathe out, only as far as feels good for you. Maybe a little scooch of the hands back as we inhale, lengthening our chest up through our hands. Breathing out to scoop and round, walk the hands back. Now maybe they come all the way behind you so that we can lengthen that chest up. Bringing ourselves back to seated upright. As we inhale, wherever your breath is at, those arms will sweep up. Exhale down. Right away, next set, inhale, arms sweep up. Left hand comes down as we breathe out. Inhale, arms sweep up. To the right hand comes down. Inhale, both arms overhead. Bowing forward on your breath cycle. As we inhale, the chest lengthens up. Maybe the hands come to center. As we breathe out, let's scoop and round. Walk those hands back just in time to inhale. Grow out through that chest again. Exhaling to bring yourselves upright. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up. Down through center of the body. Hands release. Inhale to reach. To the right hand, draw down. Inhaling it up. Over to the left. Inhale, both arms up overhead, bowing forward, moving with your breath. Inhale, maybe the hands scoop back so you can lengthen through your chest. Breathing out, scoop to round as we make our way with our hands back behind us. Inhale to lengthen up through our chest. As we exhale, arriving, sitting upright just in time to inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands come down. Release those hands, inhale up. Left hand down beside you. So starting to move in a way that feels really organic to you, to your breath. And maybe that means there's a hold somewhere along the way. Inhale, both arms up, taking ourselves forward in space. So please feel free to indulge where you need to indulge. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, scoop around, walk the hands back just in time to inhale. Lengthen the chest up with the hands behind hips. Exhale, making your way seated upright. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, down through heart center. Last time, other side. Inhale, we sweep. Right hand draws down. Side bend to the right. Inhale, arms sweep up. Left hand to the left. Inhale, arriving maybe a little taller than how we started. Exhale, diving forward, sweeping forward, reaching forward. Maybe shimmy the hands back as we inhale, lengthen up through the chest. Breathing out, scoop around the torso. Take your hands back behind you and lengthening up as we inhale. Exhale to make yourself seated upright. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Pause at center here. Your hands could be in a prayer. They could be on your heart. They could be resting. Can we feel the gentle hum of synchronicity in our body? The synchronicity of breath inhaling and exhaling. Of feeling a little more zhuzh, a little vibration of movement. Maybe even of sound. When you're ready, we're going to take those legs. I'm just going to turn and rotate myself sideways. Or like maybe not so sideways, more of a diagonal. Let's reach those legs out. Let's give them a little shakety shake, shake, shake. Now, if you're sitting up really high on something, please just be mindful that you're not trying to drive your knees down to the floor. We're going to keep a nice gentle bend here. And I'm sitting up on something too. Let's take the right leg and bend the right knee. Place the right foot down on the floor. Left leg is straight. Quads are turned on here. We're flexing out through that foot, but we're just not pushing our knee to the floor, yeah? Especially if you're upright. Can we take our left arms, please, and scoop the right knee in with that left arm? And then notice if we're sort of giving it a bit of a cuddle, which is definitely nice, but can we find the space to lift up a little higher? If it's in your practice to reach the left arm up and take the elbow to the outside, you can. But remember, we're going for a really sort of like deliciously supported practice today, so it might actually feel nicer to hug in. Right arm can reach up nice and tall up. Now let's really grow, grow, grow. And then right hand comes behind you. And if you're like me and you're up and you would like a bit more support, beautiful opportunity for a block or a book or a soup can, whatever you have here. Inhaling to sit up nice and tall. As you breathe out, drawing into that belly to rotate ourselves around. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. Exhaling through that belly to rotate around. Feeling now how we're not just operating in the planes of side to side, front to back, but now we're spiraling within ourselves, squeezing within ourselves. And with a tight squeeze comes a lovely release. So just knowing that as we're in here. 2 more breaths. Inhale to use our leverage here, our leverage of our bones, of our body to lengthen up. And then exhaling to scoop into the torso. So all of this movement is happening from within, and what's happening without is just supporting that. One more time, breathing in, growing tall. Exhaling, drawing into the belly, maybe rotating a little bit further. Take one more breath in to look to where you came from, to the front, and then exhale to bring it out. Maybe give yourself a little counter twist around to the other side, a little wiggle, wiggle if you need it. Let's keep going with that same side. We're going to take the leg and just turn it out now. So the sole of the right foot is hugged into the inner line of the left thigh. Right thigh is letting itself draw out. Again, if you're lifted up, just be careful. There's not too much range for wherever you're working. Yeah, if something starts to feel pinchy or tingly or like it's sort of humming in a really like electrocution kind of way, let's back off of that. Let's agree we're not going to go there today. Inhaling up nice and tall. Now, can you roll into yourself like a cinnamon bun as you're scooping into your belly and then walk those hands forward? And I'm hoping what that offers you is a nice little chit chat with the back of your left leg, which is a nice way to say hamstrings, right? Nice little chit chat. Scooping through that belly as much as you can, rounding through your spine here. Taking a few breaths, but never again letting our breath be something that's feeling like it's like pulling us into something we're not excited about. We want to use our breath as a way to guide the experience. Yeah. So maybe that means you went too far and you kind of want to pull out. Maybe it means you have more range than you thought. But constantly feeling this lifting of the toes, this pressing down of the left heel, this drawing up of the quad, the hug back of the left hip, and the scoop of the belly. Yeah. So we're never just sitting. If you're feeling like this feels pretty fabulous and you'd like to add a little extra to it, you're welcome to start walking your hands over to the left. And now if it's in your practice to place your right hand somewhere on your left thigh, maybe even grab the pinky toe side of the foot, you can. And you're just going to add a little counter rotation from the first thing we did. So your chest is going to lengthen out now, and we're going to turn just ever so slightly to the left. Or maybe if you have lots of range, you go a lot to the left, but not letting go of any of those housekeeping moments in our left leg, right? That heel drawing down, the quad drawing up, the hip drawing back, belly nice and stable, wide through those collarbones. Take one more breath in here, please. If you're in your twist, breathing out, we all meet nice and centered over that leg. And let's bring ourselves all the way up. Last little bit of business here. We're going to take the right leg that's been turned out and we're going to bring it up. Maybe you want to plant your left foot on the floor. Maybe you want to bring it down. There's going to be lots of options, okay? If you'd like to take your right ankle and cross it over your left knee, then give yourself a little teeter-totter here. Feels really lovely, super, super supported. Just a nice little nuzzling into the back of that right hip. If you're feeling like you have lots of mobility available to you today, you're welcome to take that right leg and you're going to just place your left elbow around. So it's like you're going to make a little cradle for it. And then you can draw the right thigh in and give yourself a little rock this way. Left leg is just sort of like to its own devices. It can go long like you just had it. You can sort of turn it out. So that leg can be crossed, or we can give it a little cuddle here. And even though we're cuddling, we're trying not to be really hollow. We're trying to find that nice long extension through that mid-upper back. Going for little circles. And the other way, if you've ever done this with like a massage ball down the back of your right hip, whoa, Nelly, is that quite an experience, yeah? And then when you're quite finished, you can get that right leg released. Give it a little shakety shake shake. And then we'll come to seated and find our second side. So right leg goes nice and long this time. Left foot is going to plant to the floor as the left knee bends. Right arm is going to hook around that left knee. Now, again, if the elbow in front is part of your practice, the right arm can come up and around that way. But remember, we're trying not to force anything here. We're trying to let it be like pretty just delicious is what I would like to prescribe or suggest or offer for our practice today. Left arm comes up, left hand comes down behind you. If you need a little blockety blue, please feel free. I definitely have one. Let's lengthen ourselves up. And then instead of using our arms to torque our spine, can we imagine the right side of our waist drawing around towards the left side behind us? Yeah. So it's not the arms that are pulling us around into a rotation. It's actually quite a muscular activity. And then that inhale to grow tall that's our vertebrae trying to lift, our spine trying to lift out of the twist. And then as we breathe out, that right side of the waist is like, hey, but what's happening over here? And it turns us a little bit more. As we inhale, we're lifting up out of that shape. And then as we exhale, we're twisting a little bit more. Drawing up nice and tall. Now, knowing that our obliques don't work down. I mean, they do, but they work in opposition, right? So we're trying to lengthen up out of that right side of our hip. They're like little crisscross applesauce. That's not fair. I shouldn't say that. To be clear, if you're going into a side bend, yes, the same side is working. Because we're twisting, it's opposites. Oh, just had a little moment where I was like, whoop, got to make sure that we didn't just learn something that's not true. One more time. Inhale, upright, maybe looking to where you came from. Exhale to bring yourself around. Maybe give yourself a little counter twist. And then arriving upright. Let's take our left foot, place that left inner sole towards the right inner thigh. Can we sit up nice and tall? And then like a cinnamon bun, let's roll our chin in towards our chest, scooping through our bellies and walking our hands forward. Giving a nice flexity flex through that right foot and trying to drive the right heel down. Knowing that we're never just sort of sitting into these stretches, right? We don't want to ask our muscles to create space in a passive way. We want them to have support. So that means that we have to turn on the quads. We have to think about drawing the heel down, about hugging the right hip back, and then scooping and curling into this. And you'll find, hopefully, that it creates a bit of a different experience than if you were just sort of sitting in this stretch. Breathing it in here. Breathing it out. Taking a few moments to allow the chitter chatter on this leg to cease. Or maybe to find a little bit more control. And then if you would like to spice it up just a little bit, if the mobility, if the range feels like it makes sense, keep all the activity of this home base and then walk your hands over to the right. Maybe it's available to place the left hand somewhere along the outside of the right leg, maybe up to that pinky toe. And then you can use your right hand for leverage to lengthen your spine out now. So we're not going to turn in a curve. We're going to find ourselves quite long. And then again, now the left side of the waist gets to pull us around. Drawing the hips back, lengthening through the spine, rotating through the torso. Feeling that heel draw down. Maybe the chitter chatter has increased. Mine definitely has. But always coming back to that breath. Always coming back to, it's your practice. You can be everywhere and anywhere you need to be. Taking one more breath in, breathing out to look to the center, bring yourself all the way up, releasing through those legs, maybe bending up through that right knee. Let that left leg now, we're going to take our body weight back just a little bit. Left leg can come up, cross the left ankle over the right knee. Make sure you're flexed through that foot and give yourself just a little teeter-totter across that back hip. Now, if you, again, would like to maybe spice it up, if the range exists comfortably in your body, you can take your right elbow and hook your left foot into your right elbow. So you're making a little cradle. And then right arm, tighter on the side for me, comes around and we can give it a little cradle rock this way. Now, if you would like to let your right leg go long, you can. If it makes sense to turn it out, you can do that. Whatever makes the most sense for you. But doing our super duper best to not like curl into it and give it a nice little cuddle this way. We want it to be quite a lengthened experience if that's possible. Now, as always, I can't play music in these classes because of copywriting issues. However, if you would like to have your own sweet jam going, please feel free to make sure it's on. Or if you want to sing to yourself, sometimes I just sing through my practice, which makes for a very cardio-based activity to move and talk at the same time. Gently let that leg go. Give your legs a little shake, a little wiggle. Maybe give your ankles a nice little shake. If you have something on your mat that you've been using for support, maybe just scooting it out to the side. Maybe moving all the extraness out of the way. Let's come on to hands and knees. So if your wrists are not always feeling super excited about weight bearing, you're welcome to stay kneeling and work on some mobility from up here, yeah? Hands and knees planting down through those hands, maybe giving your toes a little tuck. Can we add some of the movement we were practicing seated now into this new shape? As we inhale, lengthening from tail through the belly, through the ribs. And usually I say don't let the belly drop, but let the belly drop today. Let it go into its extreme. And then as we exhale, can we feel like we're scooping the pelvis underneath us? Fire your glutes around. And then how extreme of a push away can you find? Inhaling to lengthen it out, drawing the heels of the hands down, opening through the chest as you move here. As you breathe out, scoop around, tuck, push that floor away, hollowing through that belly, round it out. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling. Round. Taking your time here, massaging the spine and seeing if, because we're in a new shape, if it means there's something more available to us. Maybe you want to add some movement. As you inhale, your weight travels ever so slightly forward. And as you breathe out, maybe your weight travels ever so slightly back, or maybe into more of a shell stretch. If your toes are tucked, you're going to get a nice stretch through your feet here, through your metatarsals. Inhale to lengthen it out and up. Maybe you tip forward. Now make sure those arm muscles are turned on. As we exhale, round ourselves back. Maybe your hands reach so you got a nice stretch here. And then that way, as you inhale, come forward, you have a little more room. See how we're kind of traveling it a little bit? Exhaling to round it back. 2 more times here, just like this. Exhale, seeing if we can make this shape maybe a bit bigger than when it first started. One more time, inhaling. And if you're kneeling, you're welcome to just sort of have a nice boogie here. Exhale to take it back and then pause. If it feels reasonable to untuck your toes so you can sit back a little bit further, please feel free. If you have a hard time kneeling like this, if you roll up a towel and put it underneath your knees, it's going to help. Take those arms and walk them over to the right. Feel the left hip draw back. Taking a nice, delicious breath in here. Nice, delicious breath out. Hands travel through center all the way over to the left. Feel that right hip draw back in space. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Walking those hands to center. Bringing ourselves all the way up. And then however it feels good for you, maybe tucking those toes, lifting those knees, and taking a little whoop, 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 hike forward towards your hands. Can we meet in a forward fold however you want to get there, and just pedal your legs out, pedal your feet out, pedal your hips out. If it feels reasonable to drop your head, please feel free to do so. If you would like to stay up more halfway to control blood flow, please feel free for that too. Taking a big, delicious breath in, let's bend through those knees. As we breathe out, let's push the floor away, scoop hollow through the belly, roll yourself all the way up to standing. Nice big roll of the shoulders. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Looking down for a hot second to check in with those feet. Can we lift up all of our toes, spread them nice and wide, and then place our feet down? Giving a gentle bend in the knees, can we ever so slightly rock our weight forward? And then gently rock our weight back. Maybe the toes lift. Woo! Lifting them up, spreading them wide, rock your weight forward. Taking your weight back as the weight goes back. Maybe those toes can lift. Bringing it forward. 2 more. Just a little play with body weight here, with getting all the sensory systems of our feet to sort of come online. Back. And then finding a nice center here. Arms released down by your hips. Tadasana, mountain pose. If you haven't heard me say this before, I love that this is called Tadasana because it feels like ta-da, like we're here. And we are so here right now. Inhale, the arms sweep up. As we exhale, bowing forward over those legs. As we inhale, lengthening up halfway. Exhaling to melt it down, gentle bend in the knees. Push the floor away, roll yourself all the way back up. Inhale, sweep, 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 sweep. We go right away down again. Exhaling to bow forward. Inhaling to lengthen up halfway, draw the rib cage in as we lengthen the chest forward. Exhaling to melt down. Now please be generous with your knee bends here. Push the floor away, find some glute hamstring to roll yourself up as the arms sweep up overhead. Exhaling to bow forward and down. Inhaling up halfway. Every time we move in here, thinking about growing a little bit longer in the spaces of the shapes we're making. Push that floor away, firing to lengthen up. One more time here, and I'd like this to be a pretty free practice. So although sometimes we move together and we're really specific about what we want to hit, can you please let today's practice be just something that feels good in your body? As we breathe out, melting ourselves back down into our forward fold and then pause. Inhaling to come up halfway or meeting halfway. As we breathe out, can we step our right leg back and then let our right knee find the floor? So you can fold your mat or find a blanket, whatever feels good. Feel free to grab blocks as we bring ourselves a little more upright. Now practicing, this time she's like, let it be free. One housekeeping note I will say is please let's not sit into our right hip flexor tons. Can you come out of it? So if you go to your max and come back like a quarter, that feels about good. Can we hug the legs in, fire through the bum cheek and square off through those hips? And I'm hoping you get a really nice experience through the legs in a different kind of a way here. Maybe we can inhale, maybe the arms sweep up. Well, actually, what I should say is we inhale and maybe the arms sweep up. That maybe was not in the right place. And then as you exhale, maybe it feels good to sort of cactus open those arms, shining the heart up. Now remember, our foundation of our legs doesn't change. Take a breath in here. Can we grow taller and more open through the chest? As you breathe out, keep the legs as they are, but it's like you're closing gate doors here as we round through our torso, hug those arms together. Inhale to open them up, shining the heart. As we exhale, closing them in. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. One more time. Inhaling it open. Exhaling, hollowing in through that sternum. Inhale to open. Reach those arms up. And then if it feels good in your body, your left hand can come down beside you, especially if you have a block there. Take a side bend over to the left. Maybe you inhale to come out of it a little bit, exhale down. And if you don't like those back toes flipped, don't feel like you have to. One more time, inhale up. Exhale it over. We're going to be a little bit of a drama queen. We're going to stay in our side bend. We're going to circle around to the front. Release your hands, remove your blocks. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale to reach those arms forward. Step back and find any version of a plank that feels good for you. So that could be kneeling, that could be hands and knees, it could be no plank at all, it could be a child's pose, all those things. Inhale to feel nice and long through that spine. As we breathe out, we're going to lower down through our knees. We're going to hollow through that belly. We're going to hit our chest, and then we're going to hit our chin. So it's not the same shape as just a straight plank. As we inhale, can we slither forward just a smidgen? So pedicure side of your feet is on the floor, drawing open through that chest. And then as we exhale, slither yourselves up and back, maybe finding a downward dog, maybe finding more of a hands and knees shape here. Can we take a nice big breath in through the nose and exhaling it out? Maybe pedaling out through those feet, our first downward dog together here. Maybe giving those hips a little bit of a wiggle waggle side to side. Drawing those ribs in, starting to settle our tension. Remembering that downward dog is never a break. It's always moving energetically, even if subtly. Can we inhale to lift our heels, bend our knees, look forward, and then just gently walk those feet up to meet your hands. And whatever that means, that's just like a very broad invitation, right? So really it means however you want to get your way up to your feet or your feet up to your hands, please feel free. Inhale to lengthen yourself up. Exhaling to melt forward, passing your feet through the floor, rolling your spine all the way upright. Let's lower down again, exhaling to melt it forward. Inhale up halfway. This time as we breathe out, the left leg is going to step back, drawing the left knee to the floor, and then pause. If you need to adjust, adjust. Hug those legs in, bringing yourself upright. Noticing again that we're not sitting into that left hip as much as we can. We're coming into our deepest and then up about a quarter. Hug those legs in, right hip back, left hip forward, if it feels reasonable in your body. Sweeping those arms up overhead. Noticing we haven't lost that home base. Yeah, it's on constantly. Maybe taking those arms and opening up through your chest again. If you feel like you need to support your back knee, please feel free to go ahead and do so. So we're not just upright here, yeah? We're lifted up and we're opened up and back. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, just that sternum is going to hollow and close. You're still trying to keep the legs as they are. Inhaling to lengthening up and open. Exhaling to hollow in and close. Inhale to lengthen up and open. Exhaling to close. One more time. Inhaling up and open. Exhaling, upper body closes. Inhale, take it back upright. And then exhale, can you reach those arms up? Grow taller as you breathe in, and then maybe it feels nice as you breathe out to bring your right hand down and take a side bend over to the right. Remember, those back toes can be however you want them to be. But non-negotiable is the support of the legs, constantly hugging, right hip back, left hip forward, feeling the feet pressing into the floor. And using that as leverage to deepen the side bend safely. Take one more breath in. As we breathe out, coming all the way up. Oh, no, sorry, I lied. We're going to be a drama queen. We're in our side bend. We're circling around and forward. Maybe take those blocks, scoot them out the way. Plant your hands down. Step back into your version of a plank. It could be knees down. It could be hands and knees. It could be a full plank here. Taking your breath in. Now, can we take a moment? And non-negotiable is a squeeze of the arms. So turn the arm muscles on as you're here. Use them to push the floor away. So we're not sitting in our elbows. We're pushing, squeezing through those muscles. Take one more breath in. And then as you breathe out, we are going to let the belly hollow today. Elbows still draw to ribs as we lower knees, and then through your chest, and then through your chin. Inhale to slither forward into a little baby cobra, or maybe you're in your full up dog. And then as you exhale, press back, downward dog. Nice big breath in through the nose, please. Exhale, sigh it out. You're welcome to take a few breaths here to pedal out through those feet, to lengthen out through the tail. Maybe give your hips a little wiggle waggle side to side, drawing the ribcage in. And when you're ready, taking just a little pause here. Now remember, downward dog doesn't have to look like this. It could be any shape that feels good for you. If you're in downward dog, inhale to lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, breathe out, and on empty, make your way up towards your hands. Inhaling to come up halfway. Exhaling to melt it forward and down. Press your feet through the floor as we ripple and roll our spines all the way up to standing. Exhale to melt it forward in space. Inhale up halfway. As we exhale, lower down, step your right knee back down to the floor, right leg back down to the floor. Hug those legs and sweep your arms up. Hugging in through those legs. Now, can we keep the legs nice and strong? Yeah, remember we're squeezing in, left hip back, right hip forward. Can you fire up through those legs so much that you lift up to a lunge? That was super fun. Can we keep firing that back bum cheek as we slowly lower ourselves to the floor? And then totally find the floor, take a break. Whew, your hands can come to your heart. They can come to your hips. Take a breath in. Remember, we planted our bulb. This is our bulb growing. Yeah, it's hard work, but it's so beautiful at the top. Hug the legs in, fire them up. Use them as leverage to lengthen yourself up in space. Enjoy this moment of growth, and then keep hugging the legs in as we slowly descend to the floor. Take a little break at the bottom. Breathing in. When you're ready, hug the legs in. Charge up the back bum cheek. Lift the back thigh to hover. Stay here. And then slowly with control, find your descent to the floor. One more time. Taking a breather. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself all the way up, freeze. Now, maybe you're like me and you kind of need to shorten that stance a little bit. Please feel free to move it as you need. Having grown this shape upright, maybe giving the fingers a little interlace, pointer finger high. Now, take note of what hand is sort of linked on top, yeah? Or what thumb is linked on top. Can we keep squaring off those hips, charging through those legs? Lift up tall. Lift the rib cage off of the torso. And then maybe exalt back just a little bit. Whoo, huge stretch here. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Keep trying to scoop your pelvis underneath you. Keep trying to lift the rib cage off the torso. One more breath in. As we breathe out, release the hands, dive it forward. Step back into your version of a plank. Inhaling to be here. As you exhale, tilting the pelvis, lowering knees, lowering chest, lowering chin. Inhale. You could also lower it at plank if you want, taking an extension of your choice. And then exhale, slide it up and back, downward dog. Big breath in here, please, friends. Exhaling it out. Giving a little wiggle of the hips, maybe of the torso. Keep pushing that floor away. Keep charging up through those arm muscles. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. When you're ready, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward on empty, walk, step, or jump your way up to meet your hands. Now we're not going up into our full standing flow here. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to lower down. This time, step back with your left leg. Please lower your left knee to the floor. Bringing yourself upright, hug those legs in, fire through the glute, find that torso strength. Maybe your arms are reaching up. Those legs are super, super fired up. So fired up, we can push the floor away and come up to a standing lunge. Growing with our bulbs, yeah? Take your breath. And then when you're ready, can you slowly travel that shape down? Inhale here. I'm already oh, it's hot, spicy. Hands can be where you need. Exhale to squeeze and lift it up. Taking a moment to celebrate your success and then controlling the descent down. 2 more here. Finding that strength of the legs, charging through that bum cheek. Lift yourself up. Enjoy this moment of lunge, gently guiding yourself down. And of course, if this isn't an option, please feel free to freestyle. One more time, hugging those legs together. Bring yourself up and then pause. And if you need to take a quick readjustment, please feel free, because I definitely don't want you to fall over. Now remember, we were taking note of which thumb was on top. Can you interlace your hands and switch so your opposite thumb is on top? Maybe pointer fingers are lifted. We're squaring off through the hips, bending the knees, straightening the back leg. Lift yourself up. Draw your ribcage off your torso. And then take this into a bit of a back bend, maybe. Now, not at the expense of our hips. Yeah, we're not trying to let our hips go, although maybe that looks like quite a nice angle. We want to keep drawing the hips in so the bottom of our torso is almost trying to scoop, while the top part of our torso is trying to lift. I thought I had 3 fingers in one spot, and I didn't. Charging up through that back leg. One more breath in as we breathe out, taking ourselves all the way down, releasing your front leg back to meet your back leg, your version of a flow. Inhaling as we breathe out, lowering maybe knees, maybe chest, maybe chin. Inhaling to slide and find your extension of choice. Exhale up and back, downward dog. Take a nice big breath in through the nose for me, please. Exhale it out. Feeling that constant work of pushing the floor away. Inhaling to lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, few little walks up to meet your hands. Inhaling to lengthen it up. Exhaling to melt it down. Press your feet through the floor. Ripple, roll your spine all the way up, lengthening up overhead. As we exhale, diving and bowing forward over those legs. Inhale to come up halfway. As we breathe out, lowering down, stepping back with the right knee finds the floor. Sweeping those arms up in space, hug the legs in, and then using the energy of our legs to lift up into that lunge. From our lunge, can we turn our back toes out? So we are finding ourselves in our super gorgeous, lovely warrior 2, our searching warrior, our purposeful warrior. Bending into that front knee, little housekeeping note here. Can we lift up through that front heel, scoop the bum, scoop the thigh behind us? And then if you love a lifted heel, keep a lifted heel. If you'd like to lower it down, lower it down. We're reaching, we're exploring, but most importantly, we're breathing. Palms down is traditional. Palms up is a really nice break for your shoulders, if you would like to play with that. Always coming back to the breath. Checking in with that stitch back thigh, making sure we're not sitting in that back hip. We're trying to level up through the pelvis. Back hand draws down to back thigh. Can we lengthen out through the left side and exalt this warrior shape backwards? Inhaling here. Exhaling, can we lift up and out of that rib cage? And then we're sweeping ourselves upright again. Draw the hands behind the back. Now you can interlace your fingers and find a stretch. You could bring your hands into a prayer. You could bring your hands into a hip. Can we turn our chest in and melt forward to the front of that thigh? If you have blocks you would like to use for support, you can. But we're trying to hug that hip back without sitting in it. So if we take the hands away, it means we have to use the legs a little bit more. 2 more breaths here. Inhaling in. Exhaling it out. One more time, breathe in. As we breathe out, push the floor away, ripple, roll yourselves up. Find that warrior 2. Back hand slides down the back leg as we take our exalted shape. And then let's bring ourselves all the way up. You're not going to windmill down. We're going to straighten that front leg. Can you turn your front toes so that they become parallel to their edge of the mat? So now you're in like a long, splitty leg kind of a shape, but your toes are pointing forward. Hands come to your hips. Let's root down through the feet, lift up through the torso, drawing the rib cage in like you're doing a plank, and then let's tilt our spines forward in space. If you have a block or 2 handy, that's always fabulous. And can we keep our weight nice and even through the full foot? Zipping up through those thighs. Remember, we're never sitting back in our joints, and we're going to do that wavy spine again. So as you inhale, can you lengthen your chest up and forward? Remember, we did this at the beginning together. And then exhale, let's scoop and draw in. Inhale, wave your spine forward into a bit of an experience of a cow belly here. And then exhaling, draw in. But you're not going to get the full range. Yeah, it's just a different kind of a shape to be rippling in as we give those hamstrings and inner thighs a little moment to chit chat. One more time, lengthening it out. Exhaling it in. Scooting that block out of the way. Can you rock your hands over to your right foot? Can we turn the right toes to face forward to like its edge of the mat? Hug the legs in, bend that front knee, and ta-da! We're in our warrior 2 on our second side. Don't we love when that happens? I love when that happens. It's like magic, movement magic. Feeling how this feels on this side. So little bits of housekeeping, right? That front heel, if you want to lift it up, tuck the back thigh in, maybe bend the front knee a little bit more. And then maybe you lift your heel, maybe you keep it down. It's totally up to you. On this side, again, trying to open up through the hips, but keep that front thigh tucked into its back pocket. Maybe the palms are flipped up, but wherever we are, we're breathing. Enjoying this searching warrior moment. Not sure where the journey is going to go, but ready to be on it. Back hand comes to back thigh, reaching through that front arm as we exalt this warrior shape, keeping a nice bend in that front knee. Watching that we don't collapse into the rib cage, lifting up and out. Trying to keep space across the collarbones. We have to go back to go forward sometimes. Breathing in. Breathing out. Using your legs as leverage to bring your torso all the way upright. Maybe the hands can come behind the torso. Maybe they come into a prayer. Maybe they just come to your hips. Keeping the knee bent, but rotating now so that we can face in towards that thigh as we start to lower down to the floor. Blocks fabulous if you have them here. But knowing that part of the work here is that we're not resting, right? We're still keeping a delicious hug in of those legs. Back thigh is turned on, and we're just bowing in. Bowing into the shape, into the experience, into the lesson. One more breath here. As we breathe out, hugging those legs in to lengthen ourselves. Ooh, that nice strong leg movement. Stretching up through the legs. Let's turn the back toes to face back in so we're back in that forward fold shape. Hands can come to hips. They can interlace behind you. Inhaling to be up tall. And then as you exhale, scoop and draw in through the belly as you bring yourself down. If you really enjoyed that ripply wave of the torso, feel free to be there again. If you prefer to just sort of be down in a stretch, feel free to be there too. But remember, it's never passive. I don't want us to just melt into our flexibility. I'd like us to create mobility, which is range with strength. And to do that, we have to turn our muscles on, which means quads are turned on, feet are pushing down, feet are hugging in. Find pinky toe edge of your foot, melting into a range that feels like you can sustain all of that support. 2 more breaths here, please. Inhaling it in. Exhaling. Breathing in. And out. When you're ready, walking your hands over to your left foot, left toes turn out. We're facing towards the top of our mat. Can we bounce through the back knee and then step it forward? Or however you need to arrive at the top of the mat, please feel free. Inhaling to come up halfway. Exhaling to melt it down. And then however you would like to cascade yourself down to the floor. Maybe it's through a squat. please feel free. Let's take our hands back behind us. Let's give our legs a little wiggle, wiggle, little jiggle, jiggle. And then let's bring ourselves down. I'm just going to move my blockity blocks into a little more organized fashion over here for you. All the way down onto our backs. And you plant those feet down nice and firm. We're going to go just for one little spinal roll here, but let's make it really slow and really sweet. As you're ready, feeling the feet push down, drawing the low belly back in towards the floor. Your low back starts to scoop and hollow. You feel those vertebrae. Then your glutes kick in so you can start to draw up and out through those knees as we draw our vertebrae, draw our spine forward. I'd like us to not tuck our shoulders underneath us here, please. I'd like us to keep this quite active through the back of the legs. Taking your breath in, taking a breath out. Staying active, gently drawing the spine down one vertebrae at a time. Releasing your pelvis once you've slowly descended. Maybe bring those knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice rock and roll. If there's anything you feel like you need to take, maybe a happy baby, maybe a twist, please feel free to do so. But if you're about ready to find your way into Shavasana, please feel free to do so. We had extra props today, so if you would like to take your pillow and set it up behind your head, if you'd like to take a blanket to set it up over your body, let's do it. Let's get snuggly. As you're finding your way into your Shavasana, can we revisit this idea of our bones, our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, our spiritual body, softening, melting, getting heavy into the space underneath us, the space that's supporting us. And then not just finding that space behind us, but melting all the way down through as many floors as you need until it finds its way nuzzling into the soil. I think this idea of saying, let it go, is not entirely true. And it's a trap that I fall into, where it's just like, oh yeah, let it go, let it go. But I don't always believe that's the answer. If we're letting something go, it needs somewhere to go. And especially if something feels like a really important experience, the idea of letting it go doesn't just happen. But then it also gives this sort of frivolity to it, where if we let it go, it could circle back. It doesn't have purpose. So if that's an experience you also find yourself having, as we take these few moments in Shavasana, maybe explore the idea of letting things be. Be in that bulb, planted in the soil. Be in your body, breathing love into it. Be on its way out to be of service in a really positive way. I'm going to make my way up to seated so that I can be here. If you would like to stay in your Shavasana, please feel free to indulge. And if you would like to close practice together, know that I will be here to guide that as well. I'm going to leave you in a few moments of silence, but I'm still here. If you're ready to close together, take a nice big breath in, exhaling it out. Gently rolling your way over onto one side, and when you're ready, bringing yourself upright. Eyes closed or not closed, it's up to you. Thank you for allowing me to show up today. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you and be vulnerable and be honest. And thank you for showing up and moving honestly and vulnerably as well. There's no hiding in our tissues. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Thank you. Thank you.